Hi, I'm Karma RX, and I am going to show you how I make goat milk soap. First of all, we need light. So I'm going to have to work fast here. I have frozen goat milk here that I'm adding lye to. Lye is sodium hydroxide. It is absolutely necessary to make soap. So it saponifies the water, or in this case, milk. With normal milk, you can just use regular room temperature water. With milk, the lye will chemically scorch the milk if it gets too hot. So I have frozen goat milk cubes, and it's also in an ice bath to keep it extra cold. Now this is not a how-to video, because if it was, I'd be wearing goggles so I don't burn my eyeballs out. Why? But I'm not gonna do that because I don't like goggles. I just wanted you guys to kind of get an idea for how kind of ridiculous this whole process is. There are easier ways to make soap. This is a cold process, so some people do a hot process. People do like a mix and pour, where they basically buy something that's already made and they just heat it up and pour it in and add whatever their specific flavors or fragrances. This is probably the hardest way, well, it is the hardest way to make soap. Cold process is hard, and then milk is exceptionally hard. And then you guys can't see because I don't have a camera guy. I just have my phone on a thing right now. But I have 7 different colors that I'm putting into this soap. This is the Viking, and it's one of my favorite soaps to make because there's 7 different colors and it's fucking beautiful. But it's also difficult, so I don't know why I chose to phone this one. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding the lye slowly to the frozen milk. The lye heats it up, so it's melting as I add more and more lye into it. And you want to do this process slowly so as, again, not to scorch the milk. I've already measured out all the oils that I'm using and all my colors, which is a whole process in itself too. I have a whole bunch of oils in this one. It's olive oil, palm oil, coconut oil, castor oil, canola oil, vitamin E. I think that's it. But that mixture makes it a little bit easier to mix all these colors in. So I'm sorry this part's gonna take a while. If I knew how to edit videos, I would edit it out. Let's see if I can do like a time lapse. You can't even see what I'm doing. So I don't know what the purpose of this video is. I need a camera guy. I just wanted to show you my apron. I got it at a tattoo convention in Pittsburgh like 2 weeks ago. Some lady hand makes them. They're pretty awesome. So yeah, don't play with lye without gloves and goggles. I just don't care that much about life, so I'm not wearing goggles. Also, they don't really fit over my eyelashes. Okay. I'm gonna add the rest of the lye. So yeah, this is basically like Fight Club, but with more colors, and I'm not using the fat of humans. Unfortunately, I'm using, normal oils. But goat milk soap, I've been obsessed with for a while now, before I started making it, because it's like the most moisturizing, creamy soap in the world, or that I've ever used at least. And so it's expensive. I know that mine's expensive as well. The reason being is that, you're about to see how difficult this process is, and as well that goat milk itself is expensive. But it's worth it. It's like the best soap ever. And that's why I make it. So this specific lye that I'm using is annoying because it's not a powder, it's like little crystals. And I have to make sure every bit of them dissolves, because if there's any little pockets of lye that are undissolved when I mix everything in, that could, you know, burn people, and it wouldn't be really, really nice for you guys who are using my soap. Let me see. I'm also going to check the temperatures of my oil. Okay, my oil's like 120 degrees right now. I want to get it down to about 115. And then my milk is heating up, but it's also still cold because it's frozen. It's less frozen now. Also, when handling lye, you should not wear short sleeves. You should wear long sleeves to protect yourself. Again, I just don't really like to be safe about life. That being said, I have burned myself with lye a couple times, like in Fight Club, and it feels terrible, so don't be like me. I wish I could show you all these pretty colors. I could pick the phone up, I suppose, if I wanted to get lye all over it. Probably get it in my eyeballs later, so I'm not gonna do that. This video is really boring for you, isn't it? You can't see anything except my beautiful face. Let me see. That's not really help. That didn't do anything, I'm sorry. Now you just can't really see my beautiful face either. Anyways, my ice cubes, my milk cubes are almost all the way melted. I don't know about this thing, whatever. My goat milk cubes are almost all the way melted, which means that the lye is doing its job. This is the slowest, least exciting part of soap making. Because you really just have to take your time and make sure that everything is all the way dissolved. I'm gonna check the temperature again. 68 degrees right now. Make sure all the lye is in there. And then I'm gonna take it out of this ice bath because it's still nice and cool, and I wanna make sure that absolutely every little bit of lye dissolves. So as long as it doesn't get too hot to where it will chemically scorch the milk, it should be fine. Can't see nothing. You think I'd be better at making videos. So yeah, if you were to add lye to just regular, not frozen goat milk, it would immediately turn brown and start to smell like dead bodies. So we're not doing that. Okay. Anyways, you know, I love soap. I love you guys for buying my soap and all my other products. I really have been having really just a blast making all this stuff. And it's an excuse to wear my sweet apron. This should be like a apron fashion show. Just kidding, sorry. So, to make sure that all the lye, the sodium hydroxide, has dissolved or saponified, I usually like to wait until the temperature goes up all the way and then drops a degree or two, which would mean that there's nothing heating it up anymore, which means that it's all saponified. And there won't be any like strange burning bits to upset my lovely customers. this is gonna get hectic. As soon as I like start mixing colors, I don't know that I'm gonna be paying too much attention. Hopefully you guys can see something. If you can't, I'm sorry. With 7 colors and like what I'm doing with this specific soap, it's pretty crazy. As soon as you add the fragrance and start mixing, the whole thing likes to get, I mean, it solidifies pretty quickly. So for me to be able to get all of those like pretty swirls, I have to move really, really quick. And it's probably gonna be a little bit of a shit show. So sorry about that. Let me get paper towels. So the other thing that's hard about the Viking, the soap that I'm making right now, is that I pour it dark to light because I want the lighter colors on top. So that's like a gradient like the ocean. But what sucks about that is every time you mix, you have to clean the mixer because I'm starting out with the darkest color. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. All right, I've dropped a degree. I'm gonna say this is Saponification. So now I'm gonna take my oils. Let's make sure they're cool enough. Yep, perfect. And then I'm just going to add my saponified milk to my oils. And then I'm gonna barely mix this because like I said, I'm doing 7 colors and it's gonna start speeding up rapidly. So that's about all I'm gonna do there. I'm gonna add a little bit of sodium lactate. This is really, I don't know why I'm doing this way. Seems like a terrible idea. Sodium lactate is a salt compound, and what it does is basically just makes the soap a little bit harder, like a harder bar of soap. All right, that is all I'm gonna do for now. All right, got my mold. I'm gonna try and do this so you can see it. Got my colorant, and then really quickly, I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this into each of my colors. Sorry, I know you can't see. And then the rest, I'm just gonna add black. I didn't really leave a whole bunch there. That's okay. I'll have a little bit of black. Okay, so now it's about to get crazy. So what I like to do with these, there's soap in there, is I like to add the fragrance right as I'm pouring each one, so it doesn't have quite as long to harden up on me. Okay, just a little bit of black on the bottom. Just wanted to cover the bottom. I'm not gonna clean it for this because it's still dark. I'm gonna add a little bit of fragrance. So then the other trick is you wanna get them thick enough so that they don't just leak into each other, but not so thick that they don't blend at all, because I want to swirl everything at the end. And you know, really what I've learned from making all these soaps is that I don't understand soap. It kind of does what it wants. So I'm not really going to worry about cleaning off my blender until I get to the lighter colors. I just made a big mess. It's okay, you're going back in. wish you guys could see a little better. I'm sorry, my camera work is terrible. And then I'm trying to save a little bit of each color for the top so that I can do like a cool swirl on the top. And the thing that sucks about soap is you really can't cut it or see what you did for a couple days. So I will have no idea if it's turned out beautiful or not. Okay, we're on the lighter green. So far it looks good. But who knows, it could just be like all mixed together in there. And I would just have no idea. Okay, now I'm gonna wipe this off because I'm going into like a lime green. I don't want any of this dark stuff, dark soap on there. I realize I'm making a huge mess, don't judge me. I love this color. Before I go into the white. Oh yeah, it's thickening up all right. I need to hurry. Okay, yep, wipe it off one more time. We're really running out of time here now. And I'm panicking, but it's okay, we got this. All right, with a little bit of green in my white. Rest of the color in it. Not very white at all. That's okay. We're not perfectionists around here. It's more like a really light green. So that didn't really mix in at all because we took too long, but that's okay. Now I'm gonna get a spatula. Oh, just kidding. I'm gonna go in and swirl this around a little bit. Not too much. I realize you can't see. I'm sorry. I'm gonna edit videos. I'm gonna kind of pack it down. And then I'm gonna go in with my spatula and add a little bit of detail on the top. And then I don't really feel the need to be super exact with any of this because it's soap, and I think that art shouldn't be too perfect. Art's not really art. Those perfect colors. Can you see them? I don't know. I wish I had saved a little bit of the black for the top, but you know, I really didn't even start out with that much black, so that didn't happen. Sorry. Okay. And I'm gonna wipe this off a little bit because I'm going into this white, quote unquote, that is not in fact very white. I'm just kind of drizzling it on there. It's not the, I'm gonna swirl it still, so I'm not super concerned with how this looks. All right, now, tap it a little bit one more time. You can kind of see, right? Not really, sorry. So now I'm just gonna I'm doing like S curves. This is just the back of a makeup brush. And then I'm gonna do swirls. So right by now it's like pretty like lumpy and not very pliable at all. And that is that. I'm gonna pick this up for a second so you can see her. She purdy. Anyways, now she's going in the fridge and I gotta hurry, so.